The winter wind howled through the dark New York streets as little Emma tightened her thin jacket around her bony shoulders. 11 years old and already carrying the weight of survival, she clutched her hands together and scanned the bakery's glowing window. Inside, the smell of fresh bread and the sound of laughter made her stomach ache with longing. Emma wasn't begging for money tonight, not after being yelled at too many times. She only wanted leftovers. So when the bakery closed, she waited at the side door. An older baker handed her a bag of hard rolls with a sad smile. "Sorry, kid. That's all tonight." But as she walked back toward the shelter, she saw a sleek black car pull up in front of the tall office building across the street. The driver opened the door, and out stepped a man in an expensive suit, barking into his phone, his face hard as stone. And clinging silently to his hand was a little boy, pale, frightened, and mute. Emma stopped. She had seen the boy before, here and there, always expressionless. The newspapers sometimes called him the silent heir. The CEO's only son, who hadn't spoken a word since his mother died in an accident 2 years earlier. An idea, wild, foolish, sparked in Emma's mind. She darted forward, her shoes slapping the icy sidewalk. "Excuse me, sir," she cried, her voice shaky. The CEO stopped in his tracks, scowling at the interruption. "What do you want?" Emma swallowed her fear. If I can make your son talk, will you give me your leftovers?" The man blinked, then let out a cruel laugh. "You? Make him talk? I've spent $500,000 on therapists who failed. And you, a beggar girl, think you can do it?" "Yes," Emma whispered. Something in her unwavering gaze made him pause. He glanced down at his boy. The boy's eyes, hollow and gray, met Emma's for a brief moment. "Fine," the CEO sneered. "You have 2 minutes. Make him talk, and you can have all the leftovers you want." Emma knelt in front of the boy, ignoring the CEO's smirk. She took his small, cold hands in hers. "Hi," she said softly. "My name's Emma. I know it's scary. But I used to be scared too. My mom, she left me. And it hurt so much I didn't talk to anyone for a long time. But then, I met someone who made me feel like I mattered again." The boy's lip trembled. Emma squeezed his hands tighter. "You matter. You don't have to be afraid anymore. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to cry. And it's okay to say something. Anything." The boy stared at her wide-eyed. And then, in a voice that cracked like thin ice, he whispered, "Mama." The CEO's phone clattered to the sidewalk. The man dropped to his knees beside his son, his face crumbling. You spoke," he gasped, pulling the boy into his arms. The boy buried his face in his father's chest and sobbed. For a long moment, the man just held his son, stunned into silence. Then he turned to Emma. "Who are you?" he asked hoarsely. She just smiled, wiping at her own tears. "I'm just a girl who knows what it's like to feel alone." The CEO rose slowly, still holding his son close. He took out his wallet, but Emma shook her head. "I don't want money," she said. "Just the leftovers." But the man shook his head. "No," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Not leftovers. Tonight, you dine with us." He gestured to his car. Emma hesitated, then climbed in beside the boy, who shyly took her hand. That night, for the first time in months, Emma sat at a warm table, eating more than she could finish, not just full of food, but full of something deeper, hope. And as she laughed at the boy's clumsy attempt to say her name, Emma, the CEO watched them both with tears in his eyes, realizing that kindness can come from the most unexpected places. From that night on, Emma was no longer just a poor girl on the street. She became part of a family, not because of what she had, but because of the love she gave. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can unlock the loudest silences and turn leftovers into blessings.